Bucyrus City Council for February the 6th, 2018 is called to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
McKeever.
Here.
Myers.
Here.
Wireball.
Here.
Trucca.
Here.
Sapp.
Here.
Pogue.
Here.
Shaw.
Here.
Before you have the minutes from the January 16th, 2018 regular meeting. I need a motion to accept those minutes.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Wireball, second by Mr. Foat, to accept the January 16, 2018 regular meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. Before you also have the February 1st, 2018 special meeting minutes. I need a motion to accept those.
So moved. Second. Done.
Motion by Mr. Foat, second by Mr. McKeever to accept the February 1st, 2018 special meeting minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. This is the time where we grant permission for visitors to speak. This evening we have Sydney Wireball is here with us this evening, that she has something she wants to share with us. You can either stand right there in the middle or you can go to the podium, whichever one you're going to be more comfortable. Okay? And we need you to tell us your name and your address, if you would, please.
I'm Sydney Wireball.
And your address is?
Which one?
Home address?
Okay, so 1092.
Okay, thank you. And what do you want to share with us today? And make sure you speak up, if you would, please.
I'm selling girls'
Oh.
Good evening, members of City Council and of the Bucyrus community. I'm Sydney Wireball, Dan Wireball's daughter. I'm a Girl Scout Troop 977. This is my first year being a Girl Scout, and we are excited to be selling cookies. Through cookie sales, I am learning 5 important skills for success: goal setting, decision making, money management, people skills, and business effects. Tonight I am learning a little bit about public speaking too. Will you support me in my goal? If you would like to buy cookies, there are many options for ordering. You can contact my dad by calling or texting 419-569-6229. Or come to a city council meeting. Ordering online is easy too. Send a message to my mom or dad through Facebook or email. Or email me at sydney@affinityhealthworks.com. That's SYDNEY. This is the last year for the popular lemon cookie Savannah Smiles. If you are looking for something gluten-free, we've got you covered. Toffee-tastic cookies are delicious and gluten-free. Don't forget, cookies make a great gift. Don't forget to send off a box to our military members. Cookies will be delivered February 15th through the 23rd. In addition to our cookie sales, we are collecting donations for the Ronald McDonald House, which helps the families of really sick kids by giving them a safe place to stay near the hospital where the kids are getting treatment. Attention business owners, we are looking for places to set booths to sell our cookies. If you are okay with us visiting your business, please call our leaders. Ashley at 419-565-8854. In conclusion, I would like to thank you for allowing me to speak about Girl Scout cookies. I appreciate your time. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you very much. It is such an easy sell. We all love Girl Scout cookies. So, Dan, I'm sure you're going to hear from a lot of us. Okay? Thank you very much for doing that this evening. Okay, anyone else would like to talk to council this evening right now? No one? Okay, moving on to communications and petitions.
We have 4 letters. The first one was addressed to the mayor, dated January 18 of 2018. It's from the Ohio Department of Transportation. Dear Mayor Reeser, enclosed are 2 copies of preliminary legislation to be enacted by City Council for the referenced project. Please make arrangements to have the legislation presented to the City Council for consideration, and when enacted, return 2 original signature copies to this office by February 26, 2018. An original copy will be returned to the city later with the signature of the Director of ODOT affixed. The title of the contractual officer should be affixed on page 2, and that person should sign as the contractual officer on page 3. If the city does not have an official seal, please attach a copy of the statement to that effect to the return transmittal. If you have questions pertaining to the legislation, call me at 419-207-7173. Respectfully, Jennifer Thabalt, Program Administrator, District 3, ODOT, PE&E, 906 North Park Avenue, Ashland, Ohio. And attached is this is in reference to a bridge repair over a railroad bridge on US Route 30. They want to get started on this in the summer of 2023, but they have asked for a legislation, and it is attached and needs to be referred to the planning committee.
Right, and no funds are required from the city, so we need this to go to plating. I need a motion to put this into the plating committee.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Chuka, to place this item in plating. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. Thank you.
The next 3 letters are all the same topic. I'll just read those straight through. These all came addressed to council via email yesterday afternoon. Attention Bucyrus City Council. This is from Tyler Jacobs, Executive Director of the Bucyrus Area Chamber of Commerce, regarding city tower usage by local wireless communications business. I regret that I am not able to attend the February 6, 2018 council meeting, but would like to have the following statement on behalf of the Bucyrus Area Chamber of Commerce considered during discussions of the aforementioned topic. I would like to express my support and the support of the Chamber for Wavelength Communications and their continued presence on city-owned towers. Wavelength Communications offers affordable services for our nonprofit organization and provides exceptional customer service. Alternative service providers simply can't match locally based wavelength and response time and community commitment. More importantly, they are an option for us and for the community. The presence of Wavelength Communications in Bucyrus helps control the pricing and service offered by alternative providers. Without Wavelength as an option, our organization and its members may be forced into contracts with providers that are far less reasonably priced. I cannot stress enough the importance of taking care of our local businesses. The Bucyrus Area Chamber of Commerce supports Wavelength Communications and commends them for their affordable prices, exemplary customer service, and their efforts in community involvement. Sincerely, Tyler Jacobs, Executive Director, Bucyrus Area Chamber of Commerce. The second letter is from Dr. Roy W. Harris, dated yesterday. It has come to my attention that there is a possibility that Wavelength may not have access to your structures, and in doing so, this will interrupt my internet service. As a business in our fair city, I implore you to continue your relationship. The only options we have for internet service is Spectrum and CenturyLink through DSL services. I have experience with both. They are severely understaffed, and as a result, it takes days to get service should the need arise, and it did, and it took days. That is simply not acceptable with my use of electronic health records and electronic prescribing. Losing this internet access would provide a significant hardship to my patient base of over 2,000 patients and other entities which desire access to the same. It is an affordable, locally grown option compared to what is available. I would think you would want to support local businesses and in turn support the local community. Not CenturyLink or Spectrum meet any of those qualities. I also understand that he offered free service to the city for using these towers. Seems like that would be a cost saver in itself. I'm sure you have several buildings with internet service, which, as you know, is quite costly. It would be nice for a change to see our tax bills actually go down. Thus far, I have been very impressed with Wavelength's services, great connection speeds with very acceptable cost. To date, his service has never been down, and Mr. Fankhauser has been very responsive about the installation, even working on the weekend to get the system up and going for the next week. I am the owner of Bucyrus Eternal Medicine, Inc., and also own several rental properties in our lovely city. Hence, I have sincere interest in what happens here. I think offering less service by discontinuing the contract with Mr. Fankhauser would be a travesty. It should only be considered when there is a realistic immediate replacement for whatever exists. I know from personal experience there is nothing currently available, locally grown and affordable alternative. Please be kind enough to include this letter in your meeting on February 6, 2018. Thanking you in advance, Dr. Roy W. Harris. The third letter is from Ken Cameron, 200 Brentwood Street. This came yesterday afternoon as well. To whom it may concern, my wife and I have been WaveLink customers for a few years now. We now live inside Bucyrus city limits, but when we previously lived on Beach Grove Road, we could not get reasonable internet service until WaveLink became available. We have continued to use WaveLink since moving to town. We try to buy local when it makes sense. We also like to support young local entrepreneurs. Too many young adults leave Crawford County, creating a brain drain. These city fathers may have legitimate reasons for removing WaveLink equipment from city property, but I think they should consider promoting homegrown businesses whenever possible. Ken Cameron, 200 Brentwood Street.
Okay, we'll see to it that these get into, which committee is this in?
Well, it's in the public lands already.
Public lands, and you've got that, you all have copies of this then. Moving on, we have our standing committee reports. Mr. Truca, you're the one to get us started today,
Okay,
please.
Bucyrus City Council Joint Regular Committee meeting was held on Thursday, January 18th, 2018. It was called to order by myself at 6 p.m. Members present was Mark McKeever, Dan Wireball, myself, Monica Sack, Doug Fote, and Andy Schock. Public participation, there was none that evening. In order of business, the Service Committee was called to order at 6:01 p.m. Members that were present for the Service Committee were Dan Wireball, Doug Fote, Andy Schock, and myself. Number one, airport improvements. Kevin DeTrey, manager of the Bucyrus Port Crawford County Airport, with Ben Cooley, project manager at Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley Incorporated, discussed proposed airport improvements for 2018. As a non-primary airport, the facility is eligible for an annual $150,000 grant from the FAA with a 90% of the project's cost federally funded, 5% by the state and 5% by the city. DeTrey said the airport wants to focus on preventative maintenance this year by replacing a rotating beacon at a cost of $750 to the city. Resurfacing aprons A and C, the city cost is $3,500, and the crack sealing taxiways for taxiway B and C, the city cost would be $3,250. All cost estimates include engineering fees. DeTrey asked for legislation authorizing Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley to apply for an FAA grant, advertise for bids, and enter into a contract for the improvements at a cost not to exceed $150,000, with the city share being $7,500, which has been appropriated in the 2018 budget. DeTrey hopes to advertise for bids in March. Over the long term, the airport would like to acquire 55 acres to the south to extend the Redway to 5,000 feet, which would require the rerouting of Mount Zion Road. The airport also has plans for awareness campaign and would like to extend a partial taxiway. Schock made a motion to request emergency legislation authorizing Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley to apply for an FAA grant, advertise for bids, and enter into a contract for the airport improvements. With a second by Fote, motion passed by voice vote. Material bids. Service Safety Director Jeff Wagner requested legislation authorizing his office to advertise for bids and enter into a contract to purchase various materials and supplies in 2018. He detailed a handful of changes in the water filtration chemicals and street materials from last year. Fote made a motion requesting said emergency legislation with a second by Wireball. Motion passed by voice vote. I recess the Service Committee at 6:19 p.m.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Truca regarding the minutes for that meeting? No one? Okay, moving on to Plating Committee, Mr. McKeever.
Yes, planning committee met at 6:19. Members present was Monica Sack, Bruce Truca, and myself. Number one, sewer groups 1 and 2, Bruce Branstetter Carroll, Inc., and Laura McGinnis of Arcadis, updated the committee on the city's ongoing combined sewer overflow reduction project. Presently, the city is in the midst of the 7-year Phase 1 at a cost of $24 million. This year, work is scheduled to take place on Group 1, which is bordered by East Southern Avenue on the north, Hopley Avenue on the south, Whetstone Street on the east, and Sherwood Drive on the west. Work is also scheduled to begin this year on Group 2, which is bordered by the County Fairgrounds on the north, East Southern Avenue on the south, Whetstone Street on the east, and South Highland Avenue on the west. Branstetter said he will be back in February with cost estimates for the work on Groups 1 and 2. Number 2, Whetstone/East Mansfield Drain Project. Branstetter said that as part of this year's sewer work, a separate storm sewer will be placed under East Mansfield Street at Whetstone Street to better drain that area, which is presently subject to flooding, with a concrete swale tentatively extending to the Sandusky River. McKeever recessed the planning committee at 6:47 p.m.
Any questions regarding the planning committee, minutes, anything? No? Moving on, finance, Ms. Sack.
Finance Committee met from 6:47 p.m. to 7:03 p.m. Members present, Dan Wireball, Andrew Schott, and Monica Sack, Chair. Number 1, Bucyrus Public Library Tax Levy. 2 sample resolutions were provided to the committee directing the County Board of Elections to conduct an election in the May 8th primary on an additional tax of .5 mils for the Bucyrus Public Library and declaring the necessity of levying the said tax. The increase would generate $166,595 during the first year of collection. The sample resolutions, which are necessary because the city serves as the agent for the library, have been written up as emergency legislation because the Board of Elections would need certified copies by February 7th. Library Director Brenda Kreider said the monies would be used to improve and supplement the library services and programs, such as mobile hotspots to provide people with free internet in the home. The library is currently on a budget equal to what it had in 1998. Wireball made a motion to request emergency legislation to put an additional tax of .5 mils for the Bucyrus Public Library on the ballot on May 8th, with a second by Schock. Motion passed by voice vote. Number 2, appropriations. Auditor Joyce Schiffer reported that the following appropriations needed to be made. A, from unappropriated general funds, $1,450 to Fund 101, General Security of Persons and Property, Police Department / Materials and Supplies, the carryover balance for Operation Hope not included in the 2018 budget. B, from unappropriated Fund 274, funds $7,600 to Fund 274, Police Continuing Professional Education / Police Department / Materials and Supplies, received on January 2nd from the Ohio Attorney General's Office. Schock made a motion requesting emergency legislation to make the above appropriations, with a second by Wireball. Motion passed by voice vote. Number 3, enterprise fund reimbursements. Schiffer said the annual reimbursements are for departments that incur expenses on behalf of the enterprise funds. Schiffer said $68,343.39 per fund will be charged to the waterworks, sewage disposal, solid waste, and stormwater utility funds. The formula used is approved by the state auditor. Wireball made a motion requesting emergency legislation approving the formula for the 2018 enterprise fund reimbursements, with a second by Schock. Motion passed by voice vote. Number 4, airport improvements. Schock made a motion to approve the service committee's request for emergency legislation authorizing Crawford, Murphy, and Tilley, Inc. to apply for an FAA grant, advertise for bids, and enter into contracts for improvements at the Fort Bucyrus Crawford County Airport at a cost not to exceed $150,000, with the city share of $7,500, with a second by Wireball. Motion passed by voice vote. Number 5, material bids. Wireball made a motion approving the service committee's request for emergency legislation, authorizing the service safety director to authorize for bids and then enter into a contract to purchase various materials and street materials for 2018, with a second by Shaw. Motion passed by voice vote. Number 6, SAC recessed the finance committee at 7:03 p.m.
Okay, these minutes were also read and approved at the February 1st special meeting because we needed the first item in there about the library, so that we saw that where it came from committee, but I just thought it'd be a good idea to have this read at tonight's meeting also. So does anyone have any questions or comments regarding those finance minutes? Okay. Moving on to public lands and buildings. Mr. Wireball?
Public Lands and Buildings Committee met Thursday, January 18th, 2018, from 7:03 p.m. to 7:27 p.m. Members present, Bruce Trucott, Doug Folk, Mark McKeever, and myself. Tower space contracts. The city's contract for internet services with the Wavelink ends in April, and Law Director Rob Ratliff noted that the committee needs to decide whether it wants to continue the relationship with the company, put out a request for other proposals, or go to bid. Wavelink owner Kurt Fankhauser said he would need some notice if the city decides to go out to bid for its tower space. It was noted that Wavelink is offering free Wi-Fi in the city parks. Extending the current Wavelink contract for a period of time while options are being considered was also discussed. The committee will meet with the administration to determine how best to proceed. Wireball recessed the Public Lands and Buildings Committee at 7:27 p.m.
Any questions or comments regarding the public lands and buildings report? Okay, moving on, economic development. Mr. Focht?
Bucyrus City Regular Joint Committee Economic Development Meeting Thursday, January 18, 2018, called to order at 7:27 p.m. Members in attendance, Monica Sack, Dan Wireball, Mark McKeever, and myself. Number 1, Board of Zoning Appeals appointment. Council needs to appoint someone to the board to replace Ken Emerson, who has stepped down effective December 31st, 2017, and is looking for people who may be interested in this position. The committee will continue reaching out for nominees. Number 2, vote recess the Economic Development Committee at 7:29 p.m.
Questions or comments regarding economic development minutes? None?
Madam President, can we
Yeah.
go back to planning committee minutes here?
Yeah.
I think that presently the city is in the midst of a 7-year phase 1. That is correct, but the next time, a cost of $24 million, I don't think that's accurate. I think it's substantially less than that. And I think we're looking for a total separation to be in the 20 to 30 million range over every phase. But I can get a more accurate figure, but I don't think that's, I think it's more like 7 million.
I was thinking 7 or
Yeah.
possibly 7 or 8 million. Okay, we'll hold this one then for plating until we can get a fix for that. Okay?
I can text Bruce while we're here and see if I get an answer.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Focht, would you like to take us to the end of this then?
Yes. Motion to adjourn Bucyrus City Joint Regular Committees by McKeever and a second by Trucca at 7:29 p.m. Motion passed.
Okay, thank you. We will go ahead and approve all the minutes with the exception of the plating committee to see if we get any answer to that prior to the end of the meeting, then we will take a motion at that time. So I need a motion now to approve all the minutes with the exception of the plating committee minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Focht, to approve the minutes this evening for everything but the plating committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. Thank you. Traffic Commission, we don't have a Traffic Commission report. Do we have a Traffic Commission meeting
Yes, Friday
scheduled?
morning at 10 a.m.
This Friday,
Mhm.
which is the 9th?
Friday the 9th, excuse me, 9 a.m. 9 a.m.
Friday the 9th at 9 a.m. Any questions, though, regarding traffic that you'd like to submit to the mayor this evening? Mr. Whiteball?
Well, I'm not sure, this probably isn't traffic commission, but I noticed it today, they repaved Walnut Street when the state went through there.
Yes.
And the lines are about wore off already. So that was late in the year. I
Yeah,
think that was
that's-
after the Breakfast Festival.
Oh, yeah, that was, I don't think it was, unless, they finished late.
Yeah,
They
so
finished late. Maybe those are not permanent stripes. I could check into that.
I
I'll get an answer
just,
for you.
I didn't know when the warning came
Yeah.
out on that.
Well, Zimmerman's out of Fremont, you typically do this, and those last years and years.
Yeah, I
and years.
just was amazed today when I went.
So it could just be temporary. I'll find out.
All right.
Anyone else with a traffic question this evening? No one? Okay. I need a motion to accept the committee minutes and related committee reports collectively.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Schock. All those in favor of accepting the motion, the committee minutes collectively, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. Thank you. Moving on. Mayor Reeser.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. First of all, we have a special guest here tonight, new reporter for the Telegraph Forum, recent graduate of Kent State University, Golden Flashes, Olivia Minier, did I pronounce it? Minier, okay, I got it right. Welcome to Bucyrus, we're glad you're here. Thanks for coming. And best of luck in your career.
Thank you.
Moving on, January was a very busy month for the administration and for the city. You could see outside, had a lot of snow for the whole month. Our guys were out at all hours of the day and night, especially this last weekend. Street Supervisor Jeff Dunn and crew have done an excellent job keeping the city streets in good shape. We've already had a couple snows this week. My total there approaching 10 to 12 inches I think need to be revised down. But we're still going to have some snow tonight and maybe a couple more smaller events this week. So when the trucks are out, please give them a wide berth. I've had several speaking engagements in the last few weeks. I spoke to Rotary, Kiwanis, St. Joseph's School in Galleon, and Daughters of the American Revolution. And I enjoy doing that. Always taking time to listen to people, have a lot of good comments. When you have people that are involved in service organizations, those are the people that really, really care about the city and have a lot of good ideas. We learn a lot by listening to them. I think all residents, I think this is a passionate community. We love the community. And, happy to start. Today at lunch, Law Director Ratliff, myself, and Mr. Wagner went out to lunch with another resident, Mark Milheim, longtime resident, as part of the fundraiser, Lunch with the Mayor, for Ronald McDonald House that was done last fall. So went down to P's and Elbows and treated them all, and we had a good time. And Mark had an extensive list of things he wanted to talk about. We had a lot of fun with Mark. You may have noticed the banners, I think they're still out there, from Spirit Week last week, put up by Bucyrus Elementary School PTO. And always love to get the involvement in the schools too. Involvement in the community, speaking of that, Saturday morning is the Rotary Pancake Breakfast. My t-shirt was delivered kindly by Councilman Myers. There you go. I could model that, So Saturday morning, save up your weekly carbs for Saturday morning. Come out to the high school and join us in the annual Rotary Pancake Day. It's always a lot of fun, a huge crowd, and their money goes to charity. That's what more could you ask for. Immediately after that, Rob, Jeff, and I will be throwing out the first bowling balls at the Bill Rain Invitational. I don't know how many years it's been, but it's a long tradition. I can remember when I was a kid. So Rob won our bet last year, and so he bowled a strike. And so we're not going to let that happen again. I want to congratulate Bucyrus Copper Kettle Works. I don't know if you read the Columbus Dispatch Sunday.
They were mentioned in the, I think it's the Metro State section. I've got it over in the office. I meant to bring it over tonight. They were mentioned as one of the top 10 treasures in the entire state. Number 1 was Lake Erie, rightfully so, and Hocking Hills was high. A bunch of nature excursions were there, but Bucyrus Copper Kettle Works made the Reader's Survey top 10, and they're one of Ohio's best kept secrets. So, and we thank them for all they do. I guess that's it. I can't think of anything else. Well, thank you, Madam President.
Okay. Any questions for the mayor this evening? Mr. Trucca? No, I'm sorry, wrong one. Getting ahead of myself here. Okay, none. Moving on. Service director is not with us this evening, but I believe, are you going to make these referrals, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, there's some referrals. I don't have,
You have it in your packet?
I don't think it's in my
He
packet.
does not have it in his
I
packet.
don't.
Somebody turn around and hand it to him. Oh, it's you and me?
Okay. Yes, some referrals that we have to make.
Okay.
With the Pines Reservoir to Finance Committee, which is already in Public Lands and Buildings. The water line expansion to Service and Finance Committees. The water distribution garage to Public Lands and Buildings and Finance Committees. I think it's which we did, Finance Committee. Thursday, February 8, 2018, Public Lands and Buildings, we're going to talk about Pines Water District and the distribution garage. And then we'll set up a separate meeting just for the Service Committee, which we've done too, to talk about possible water line expansion outside the city limits.
And you set that
And then-
meeting for when?
Was that set for
Friday at
Friday
1?
at 1 p.m., yes. Also, we refer the railroad tracks at Plymouth Street as part of the remodeling project. That goes to plating and finance. Did I agree with anything, Rob? Okay, thank you, Madam President.
Okay, so, going up, almost up here, have that one back. Okay, the Pines Reservoir needs to be put into Finance Committee. It's already in Public Lands and Buildings. So I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Myers? Motion by Ms. Sacks, second by Mr. Myers to put the Pines Reservoir into Finance Committee. The water line expansion to Service and Finance Committees. I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Wirebaugh to put the water line expansion to Service and Finance Committees. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. We're going to discuss that one. We already talked about the mirror. We'll set up Friday at 1 p.m. for the water line expansion. The Finance Committee will discuss the Pines water line expansion and water distribution garage at a later date. So they're only going to be discussed in one committee this Thursday evening, okay? And then the railroad tracks at Plymouth Street needs to go to Planning and Finance. I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sacks, second by Mr. Myers to put the railroad tracks at Plymouth Street into Planning and Finance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. The water distribution garage.
To finance, it's already in Public Lands.
Oh, it's all, okay. The water distribution garage is already in Public Lands and Buildings, and we need to include Finance Committee in that one. So I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Myers, second by Mr. Wirebaugh, to put the water distribution garage into Finance Committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. Thank you. Moving on to the law director.
Thank you, Madam President. I have a written report tonight. I do have one referral. The 2018 CHIP grants are coming out, so we need to refer that to committee to economic development to adopt the CHIP grant as well as the cooperative agreement between the county and the city of Gallia, because the county now monitors or administers that grant for all the cities within the county. So it's two things, but it's all part of the CHIP grant process.
Okay.
Just by way of update, we received this about 2 weeks ago. A couple of lovely U.S. Marshals from Cleveland came to see us. Mr. Kevin Keith has decided to sue the city and a number of other people for violating his civil rights, despite the fact that he's serving life without parole. So we'll be dealing with that and see how that plays out. But I would suggest if you are a victim or a family of a victim of Mr. Keith and you believe your civil rights have been violated, you might want to talk to your attorney.
Agreed. Okay. Questions? Mr. Trucca?
Madam President, I'd like to ask Rob a question.
Certainly.
I had some calls here in the yesterday and today, and it pertains to McFarland Campground or trailer park. And I was wanting to know if you'd be able to speak to that at all.
Yeah, that trailer park continues to be a source of significant problem. We worked with them last year, off and on, and over the last week or two, just piles of garbage have collected in front of the cinder block structure that's on the property. We'll be sending Mr. Grove out, we're bringing him in a little bit earlier this year, at least a few hours a week. So we'll be sending him out to provide notice and citation to that, and we're going to be investigating other options as well with respect to the continued deterioration and bad condition of some of those facilities. And we're going to look into that with respect to property maintenance, see whether those structures continue to be habitable.
Any other questions for the law director? None? Okay. Auditor, Mrs. Schiffer is not with us this evening. Oh, right, okay, this is to economic development. We need to refer the two items regarding the 2018 CHIP grant to Economic Development Committee. Do I have a motion, please? Motion by Mr. Foat, second by Mr. McKeever to put the 2018 CHIP grant into economic development. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passed. Thank you. The auditor is not with us this evening. Before you have her statement of cash position dated January the 31st, 2018. 1 month down already. Seems hard to believe that it is. We'll have that next meeting. Treasurer, we had last month meeting, you were given the treasurer's report for December of 2017. Okay. And we need a motion to accept and file that. It was in your packets last time.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Myers to accept the treasurer's report for December of 2017. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. We have nothing for the police chief or the fire chief. We're going to be looking for some annual reports coming from the different departments.
Yes,
Okay.
I believe chief is scheduled for next
Okay.
meeting for this report.
Okay, I need a motion to accept city officers' reports.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Foat and second by Mr. Wirebaugh to accept the city officers' reports. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. This is time where we have visitors' input regarding the standing or special committees and their city officers. Does anyone wish to address council this evening? State your name and address, please.
Kurt Fankhauser, 1675 South Sandusky. Had a question for the Public Lands and Building Committee. Dan, did you say that the committee was going to meet with the administration earlier tonight?
They've been asked, the administration has been asked to see what kind of interest there is in renting this space out, so.
Well, the only reason I asked is because at the last meeting, the council president said that if there was any committee meeting about it, it was gonna be done in public. So I was just seeing if this committee had met privately.
No, the committee had not met. I had asked the administration, and that was what came out of that meeting, that I would ask the administration to look into what interest there was in these towers.
Okay, all I was wondering was if the committee had met with the mayor.
No, the committee did not meet with it. We did not have a meeting yet. We haven't had a meeting. We haven't had anything to meet on. You know, we don't have any proposals other than yours.
All righty. So I was wondering, thanks.
Okay.
Yes, the committee meetings are never private. Anyone else to address council? Yes, you'd step up, your name and address, please.
I'm Natalie Norman, of Norman Smith, here in Bucyrus,
Address, please.
219 South Sandusky Avenue, Bucyrus. I've been on vacation, so I'm coming into this a little late on the wavelength stuff, but wanted to just kind of make some points here. It is a locally owned business. I would think that we are all trying to keep young people in Bucyrus and business owners in town, not drive them out. You know, we need young people to keep the city thriving. It will impact my business. Should you make some decisions on my business and operations, 80% of our sales are credit card. Without Kurt's internet, we would be unable to process credit cards. And I'm sure you all fall into the fact that whenever you walk into a business to sit down and eat, you want everybody's password so you can use their internet while you sit in there, you know, on their premises and partake in, you know, food and drinks, and that affects everyone. If you don't have internet, you're going to be paying for your own internet on your phones. If this was known that it needed bid out, why was it not done properly and before now? Because the way I read it, you guys were talking about getting rid of him very soon. You're running a large business, you're running the city. So I'm not sure how something like this goes unseen, or, you know, it affects the whole community. And all of the businesses that have him downtown. If he chooses to leave Bucyrus, I know he's going to be successful somewhere else. Because in small town, we want local business. So we support. We want to know the people that we're dealing with. That's small town pride. You know, I can pick up a phone and get insurance on, you know, without ever entering anyone's office. I can get loans online without ever leaving my business. I can order shoes online and never talk to anyone, but that's not the way I do business. Guest service is huge. That's why people support small business. That's why they come to small towns. That's why they stay here. That's why they come back and raise their families. So I really hope that, you know, you guys consider all of this whenever you're talking about pushing him out, because, you know, no, I don't understand everything, but this is a person who, to my knowledge, you were the first person with wireless internet in town. He beat out the internet service years ago, and he has a fast internet. I cannot survive on Time Warner or Spectrum's internet. It is not strong enough to support the people in our store using the internet and to run our credit card machine. Does not work. Slows down my credit card machine and everything comes to a halt. So please consider that. He has a great business and he does a good job at what he does. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, can I say something?
Yes.
I think there's a big misconception that someone's trying to drive Kurt out, and I don't think anyone's doing that. We're just going through the regular process. It was a 10-year contract, and after 10 years, we're to look at it again, you know, and it's no different than every year we look at, stone and sand and salt through the service committee. We do it every year. And this was a 10-year And I see a lot of that, and I'm not trying to run Kurt out. I don't think no one has said to me as chairman of this committee that we gotta get rid of him. No one has said that, so I just want to put everyone's mind at ease. This is just the normal process. I personally thought we would had bids by now, but it may be one of those things that fell through the cracks. But we're working on it, the administration's on it, and hopefully before the deadline, we will have it. And I also have said to, I think everyone here, that if for some reason that it did go to someone else, it wouldn't be, you're done today and away you go. There would have to be a time to let businesses, change. If that happens, we don't know what's going to happen. So right now, I don't think we have, as far as I knew, we had no bids. So I guess when we get to
Has the bid process started?
well, I don't even, it's not really even, I don't know. I don't even think we have a bid process. We're just, at this point, looking to see who may be interested in that. So there may be no one interested, so we'll have to wait and see. I have not heard anything, so.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, anyone else to address council? Certainly.
Brenda Krager-Taylor, Director of the Bucyrus Public Library, 200 East Mansfield Street. I just wanted to come back to council. You guys had wanted to know what we wanted the money for in the levy. And the board sat down and we had some discussions, as we've had previous before deciding to put the levy on the ballot. But based on a survey that we did for our long-range planning last year, I did come up with a list of things that we are looking at possibly doing. We are also currently doing another survey, more specific than what we did with the long-range planning. And people can take that survey right now. It's available online at the library's website, bucyruslibrary.org. And we also have hard copy available at the library if people aren't comfortable using their computers or would rather have a hard copy of the survey. And it's only 7 or 8 questions and doesn't take but maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Unless you have a lot to say, then it could take a little longer. But some of the things that we're looking at to do with the levy money, of course, as I talked about the last time, the mobile hotspot lending to provide internet access to folks in their homes who can't afford internet access. We also want to boost our Wi-Fi in our building. It currently reaches our parking lot and just to the courthouse. We're looking to possibly boost that some. Within the library. We want to extend our hours. When we went through the cuts in late 2009, 2010, we had to cut our hours way back. We used to be open 8 to 9, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 6 Friday, and 9 to 5 on Saturday. Now we run our hours 10 to 8, Monday through Thursday, 10 to 6 Friday, and 10 to 2 on Saturday. So we'd like to extend those hours out so that people have a more opportunity to get to the library, especially the business folks. We get a lot of complaints from them that they can't hit us to see the Wall Street Journal and things like that before they go to work in the morning. So we'd like to bring that back. We'd also like to provide a business incubator for the community where we will have some e-resources available to people who want to start a business or just wanting to try to start a business but aren't sure what they want to do. We want to have something like that available at the library, and we have been in talks a little bit with Steve Craw, who's our fiscal officer, when he was with the Economic Development Center. We had talked about possibly partnering with them to work on that, as well as the Success Center. We want to have homework centers and Blizzard bag workstations. These are for the kids who, as I said, maybe don't have internet at home. We want to have more of those available at the library, and of course the Blizzard bags for when there's bad weather and they can't go to school, but then later in the day it warms up and they can come to the library and get their homework. We'd like to have 3D printing for the public. We've had several people ask us about that. That's something we would like to offer, and we would like to be able to offer it at no charge. I'm a firm believer in that you guys have already paid for the library through your tax dollars to the state. So we would not charge you for services that we have now. So we'd like to be able to provide that 3D printing at no cost to the public. We want to, of course, continue to build our print collection and increase our electronic collection that we have. We'd like to be able to add maybe some digital magazines to the library collection, as well as more audio books and MP3 books. We'd like to provide charging stations on every floor. We have kids sitting on the floor out in our lobby charging their phones. We have them sitting in the library charging their phones. We'd like to be able to have special stations for those so that they're not all over the place. We'd like to return to our homebound delivery to the seniors in our area or people who can't get out disabled. We used to be able to deliver books to them when we took our cuts. We had to quit doing that. We'd like to return to doing that. We'd also like to start some special collections. We've had folks ask about tool lending and toy lending and video game lending. So we'd like to look into some of those areas and see if we can broaden that. We'd also like to look into possibly lending Rokus and Chromecasts so that folks that maybe want to invest in something like that but aren't ready to put the money out can check one out at the library, take it home, try it for a week, see if they like it, and know if they want to buy it or not. We want to increase our databases. We want to add novelists back to the library database. It used to be a free database through the Oakland listserv, but it's no longer available through Oakland, so we'd like to be able to provide that again. We also like to be able to provide the Chilton's Auto Manuals online at the library, as well as some resume and language learning databases that are available. We'd like to provide a public scanner and a public shredder for people to use at the library at no charge. And we'd also like to be able to invest in an AED system. We've been looking into that for quite a while, and our next step was writing a grant to get one of those. So we will have one of those in the library eventually. Long term, we want to provide maker spaces, sewing machines, stove, things like that at the library where people can come and learn how to sew, learn how to cook, since home ec is not available in the schools anymore. We also will have things that teach robotics, the robotic cubes, things like that, whiteboard tables, smart boards for the public to use, as well as laser cutters. We'd like to be able to provide a green screen so kids can, or adults can test their skill at video making on the green screen. We'd also like to have kiosks of laptops and tablets that are available for folks to use in-house at the library, and eventually have 24/7 library where if you would place a book on hold, can't get to the library to pick it up when we're open, have lockers at the library where you can scan your library card, and that locker, it will open the locker that has your book in it. It'll already be checked out, and you can take it with you. So those are some of the things that we're looking at down the line. Now, some of that long-term stuff, not right away, but some of this other stuff, if we would pass the levy, we could start doing right away. Do you guys have any other questions?
Wow.
Yeah, big plans.
Obviously, a big boost to the community with the opportunity to take advantage of a lot of those things. So thank you. We have legislation for you that we're going to be talking about here in just a couple minutes, and hopefully get you on your way tomorrow and get it on the ballot for May the 8th.
Great. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Okay. For consideration of proposed legislation for the first time.
We have 5 pieces of legislation, 2 ordinances and 3 resolutions. Ordinance number 1, 2018, amending and supplementing ordinance number 57, 2017, being the annual appropriations ordinance for 2018 by appropriating from unappropriated general funds a sum of $1,450 to the material and supplies line item within the police department category within the Program 1 Security of Persons and Property subparagraph. And finally, appropriating from unappropriated police continuing professional education training funds the sum of $77,600 to the materials and supplies line item within the police department category within the police continuing professional training subparagraph and declaring an emergency. That goes to the Finance Committee. Ordinance number 2, 2018, reimbursing sufficient monies in the amounts of 20% from the sewage disposal fund, 20% from the waterworks fund, 20% from the solid waste management fund, and 20% from the stormwater utility fund for the benefit of the city's general fund to defray 2017 operation costs of the city of Bucyrus municipal offices, and authorizing and directing the city auditor to draw thereupon, therefore, and declaring an emergency. That also goes back to finance. Resolution number 204, 2018, directing the Board of Elections of Crawford County, Ohio to conduct an election at the primary election on the 8th of May, 2018, within the library district of the Bucyrus Public Library on the question of whether an additional tax for the benefit of the Bucyrus Public Library for the purpose of current expenses, including proper furnishing, maintenance, operation, and rendering of free library services in the city of Bucyrus and the library district at a rate not exceeding 0.5 mils for each $1 evaluation, which amounts to 5 cents of each $100 evaluation for a period of 5 years commencing with the current tax year beginning in 2018, first due in calendar year 2019, shall be passed and declaring an emergency. That goes back to finance. Resolution number 205, 2018, authorizing and directing the Service Safety Director of the City of Bucyrus, Ohio to advertise for bids and to enter into contracts for the purchase of various materials and supplies and declaring an emergency. That goes to the Service Committee. And finally, resolution number 206, 2018, authorizing and directing Crawford Murphy and Tilly, Inc. on behalf of the City of Bucyrus to apply for a Federal Aviation Administration or FAA grant and to advertise for bids and to enter into a contract with the lowest and best bidder for the furnishing of the necessary labor, materials, and equipment for the maintenance and repairs enumerated herein at the Port Bucyrus Crawford County Airport, 2254 Isaac Beale Road, Bucyrus, Ohio. Said cost not to exceed $150,000, with the city's contribution not to exceed $7,500, and further authorizing and directing the city auditor to issue a warrant or warrants, as the case may be, and payment therefore against the proper appropriation or appropriations and declaring an emergency. That goes back to the Finance Committee.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to accept this as the first reading.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Foat, second by Mr. McKeever to accept the first reading of tonight's legislation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. Ordinance number 1-2018 is referred back to Finance Committee. Ordinance number 2-2018 is referred back to Finance. Resolution number 204-2018 is referred to Finance. Resolution number 205-2018 is referred to Service Committee, and Resolution 206-2018 is referred to Service Committee. This is where we have public participation. Any member of the general public may present their input or comments on legislation that has been read for the first time. Does anyone wish to address council this evening? No one? Do we need a recess?
No.
Okay. We'll skip. Committee reports on pending legislation. Finance Committee?
Finance is favorable to ordinance 1-2018, the various appropriations. Finance is favorable to ordinance 2-2018 for the enterprise fund reimbursements. And finance is favorable to resolution 204-2018, the Bucyrus Public Library tax levy directing Board of Elections.
Service Committee?
Service Committee is favorable to the resolution 205-2018, as it deals with material bids to run the city of Bucyrus. And Service is also favorable to resolution 206-2018, and that's for Bucyrus Municipal Airport improvement.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to accept these reports. Mr. Wirebaugh, second, was by Mr. Foat. Motion by Mr. Wirebaugh, second by Mr. Foat to accept the report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. For further consideration of pending legislation, for the second and third readings of proposed ordinance number 1-2018, do I hear a motion to suspend the rules, waive the reading of the caption and text, and declare it an emergency? This is for various appropriations.
So moved. Second.
McKeever.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Wireball.
Yes.
Trucca.
Yes.
Sack.
Yes.
Foote,
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Ordinance number 1, 2018.
Do I hear a motion to adopt proposed ordinance number 1-2018?
So moved.
Second.
Wireball,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Trucca,
Yes.
Sack,
Yes.
Foote,
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Ordinance number 1-2018 is duly adopted. For the second and third readings of proposed ordinance number 2-2018, which are the enterprise fund reimbursements, do I hear a motion to suspend the rules, waive the reading of the caption and text, and declare it an emergency?
So moved.
Second.
Sack,
Yes.
Foote,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Wireball,
Yes.
Trucca.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2, 2018.
Do I hear a motion to adopt proposed ordinance number 2-2018?
So moved. Second.
McKeever,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Wireball,
Yes.
Trucca,
Yes.
Sack,
Yes.
Foote,
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2-2018 is duly adopted. For the second and third readings of proposed resolution 204-2018, which is the Bucyrus Public Library tax levy, directing toward the Board of Elections to place it on the ballot, do I hear a motion to suspend the rules, waive the readings of the caption and text, and declare it an emergency?
So moved.
Second.
Wireball,
Yes.
Foote,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Trucca,
Yes.
Sack.
Yes.
Resolution number 204, 2018.
Do I hear a motion to adopt proposed resolution 204-2018?
So moved.
Second.
McKeever,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Wireball,
Yes.
Trucca,
Yes.
Sack,
Yes.
Foote,
Yes.
Schott.
Yes.
Resolution 204-2018 is duly adopted. For the second and third reading of proposed resolution 205-2018, which are the material bids, do I hear a motion to suspend the rules, waive the reading of the caption and text, and declare it an emergency?
So moved.
Second.
Foote,
Yes.
Wireball,
Yes.
Trucca,
Yes.
Sack,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Resolution 205, 2018.
Do I hear a motion to adopt proposed resolution 205-2018?
So moved.
Second.
Myers,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Wireball,
Yes.
Trucca,
Yes.
Sack,
Yes.
Foote,
Yes.
Resolution 205-2018 is duly adopted. For the second and third readings of proposed resolution 206-2018, which are the airport improvements, do I hear a motion to suspend the rules, waive the reading of the caption and text, and declare it an emergency?
So moved.
Second.
Schott,
Yes.
Wireball,
Yes.
Trucca,
Yes.
Sack,
Yes.
Foote,
Yes.
McKeever,
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Resolution 206, 2018.
Do I hear a motion to adopt proposed resolution 206-2018?
So moved.
Second.
McKeever,
Yes.
Foote,
Yes.
Schott,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Wireball,
Yes.
Trucca,
Yes.
Sack.
Yes.
Resolution 206-2018 is duly adopted. Thank you. Moving on with our agenda, old business. Does anyone have any old business they want to bring up this evening? If not, moving on to new and miscellaneous business. Traffic Commission is meeting this Friday, the 9th, at 9 a.m. in council chambers. Okay, Friday, February the 9th, I already got that one. Friday, February the 9th at 10:30 a.m. is the Records Commission meeting. That's over in your office, the mayor's office, or in here.
We'll probably have it right here.
Okay. Friday, February the 9th, Valentine's Day dance for 4th, 5th, and 6th graders from 5 to 8 p.m. The cost is $10. Where's that one? That's at the YMCA. Okay. Monday, February the 12th, the Planning Commission is meeting at 4 p.m. here in council chambers. Monday, February the 19th is President's Day. The city offices are open on that day. Tuesday, February the 20th is the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting at 4 p.m. here in council chambers. And on Thursday, February the 22nd, the Chamber of Commerce 2018 Business and Industry Forecast Breakfast is from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. at the Trillium Event Center. It's a $20 registration required, and you can contact the council clerk, and he'll make your reservations for you if you would like to attend. That's always very interesting. Anyone else with new business?
Yeah, I got a couple of
Mr.
things.
Wireball?
A couple of requests, I guess. A couple of these are requests. First, I guess, from a veteran and a former mayor, he would like to see a line item in the budget for flags. The flag apparently up there, I think it's 3 by 5, is not officially the right size.
It's City Hall. Talk about it here.
On the square.
On the square.
And he's saying that they only last like 30 days, so, you know, there should probably be something, which is, you know, something we can look at, so I don't know what, at least get it out there where we can talk about it.
Okay.
And then I got approached a while back about the Mary Street Bridge, that apparently at one time it had a crown, and now we know, you know, water sits in it, so I guess the question I got was, when was the last time it was inspected, and all that, so, you know, I know that.
Those are done by the county engineer. I can,
Yeah, so
I can
so
look
that
at
was,
it.
that was the question, I guess, was when was it inspected, and this person said at one point it had a crown, and now it doesn't, so he may think, he thinks maybe it's being undermined or something there, so. And then, I don't know what, I guess that's plating or something, I don't know, but, then I'd like to look at, utility bills. There's gotta be a way we can, you know, some of these older people that are, I mean, I take my mom, for instance, you know, she uses like one, like every 6 months, you know, and I understand you get charged for 2, but I don't know if that's right, you know, and I know, you know, it may cut into our funds, but right is right, you know, we can't be charging people for invisible water. So that's just, I'd like to put that in and have a talk about it, so.
Okay. I need a motion then to put a discussion of flags at the square and the cost and a possible line item in the finance committee.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. McKeever to place flags at the square in the finance committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Plating, let's put the Mary Street Bridge in the plating committee, find out when it was last inspected, what's going on with it. Does it need to be repaved in order to get rid of the, well, we'll do all of that stuff. In plating, I just need somebody to give me a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McKeever, second by Mr. Truca. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. And finally, the utility bill will go to service committee. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Sorry.
Motion by Mr. Wireball, second by Mr. Coach with the utility bill in the service committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion passed. Thank you. Anything else from anyone? Okay. We are all here tonight. Great. The joint regular committee meetings are scheduled for this Thursday at 6 p.m. All referrals from this council meeting and any open project list items may be discussed during the committee meetings. The items that were referred this evening are:
We have 9 referrals. The water line expansion, that has been referred to Service and Finance. There is a service meeting scheduled for 1 p.m. on Friday, this Friday, to talk about that. The Finance Committee will take that up at a later date. The ODOT bridge repair up on US Route 30 over the railroad, that has been referred to plating from council. The Pines Reservoir, which is already in Public Lands and Buildings, has been referred to Finance to be talked about at a later date from the Service Safety Director. Also from the Service Safety Director, the water distribution garage that is already in Public Lands and Buildings, that has been referred to Finance as well. The railroad repair on Plymouth Street from the Service Safety Director, that's been referred to Plating and Finance. From the law director, the CHIP program has been referred to the Economic Development Committee. From council, flags in the budget has been referred to the Finance Committee. From council, the Mary Street Bridge condition has been referred to planning. And from council to the Service Committee, utility bills has been referred. Already in committee and on the agenda, to be on the agenda for Thursday, this Thursday, we have the tower leases and public lands and buildings, the Pines Reservoir and public lands and buildings, the BZA appointment in economic development, the mill and pave for 2018 in plating, and the drain work at Whetstone and Mansfield Streets, that is in finance. That's it.
Busy meetings. It will be. Okay, the next WBCO radio programs, February, Police Chief Dave Kepke will be there, and in early March, Rob Ratliff and Gordon Grove will be on there. It's also nice to have our council member Myers back with us this evening. He's had quite an adventure on vacation, and then he ran into the Harlem Globetrotters late this week. So it's been a busy couple of weeks for you. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McKeever and second by Mr. Schock to adjourn. We are adjourned at, oh, it's Mr. Foat, I'm sorry. Mr. Foat to adjourn at 8:11 p.m.
Where do you want to do it? Tomorrow's last year. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to do it Thursday. Thursday's fine. I need to do it, like, how are we doing? Just like that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm doing too.